FT presented by Fox One, and we just keep going from what we did on the postgame show after a ridiculous 18 inning affair. AJ, what did you think? Oh, good. Okay. Are you hearing him, Kratz?
AJ, wake
Hello?
up! AJ! Oh, he's still sleeping.
Oh, well, we have 30 seconds to wake him up. Let's start.
And I can't hold it much longer. Gonna let go so I can be free.
There he is. He's up. Good morning.
It's not morning, it's afternoon, and wow, yeah, my beauty sleep did not get taken. Or, I don't even know what the word is.
This is good. We're going to see how many times we mess up just saying words today.
Listen, I gave up coffee, but today, yep.
You're back. Wow. I mean, Kratz, producer lady asked me a question like, do you want this or this? And I replied, yup. And it wasn't like on purpose. She was like, no, I asked you if you want this or this. And you said, yes. Speaking of which,
well, that's because, you know
producer,
what? Because producer lady was like this while we were up till 4 in the morning. She was sleeping because, she has to get her sleep in her 8 hours. Otherwise, she is super cranky.
She was working on something for us, and we have it. There was, a permission slip put together by us. Dear producer lady, Game 3 of the World Series went 18 innings. Can you please excuse AJ, Erik, and Scott from work/school? For me, I call it school. Please circle. She circled no. If you have any questions, please contact Dodgers on your social media accounts. That's what the Dodgers put out there, but we got to know. I think a lot of people got a yes. We got to know.
I'm pretty sure we're going to, I don't know if we're going to have a single commercial all day. Not a single break. AJ, one more. One more what? Just always one more so that we don't, because we didn't get permission to have off.
I was like, wait, what do you, to explain to everyone real quick, one more means when we are chit-chatting behind the scenes on a text group or on Slack for who's up next to ask a question, usually we are pushing it on timing and then we say, one more question.
Yeah, and producer lady likes to throw the knife at you.
Yeah.
Usually right in the back.
Knife emoji. Yes. Well,
but no,
that watched,
first of all, what a game.
What?
I mean,
yes.
Well, wait, let me charge,
though. I got to charge, so I want you to, thanks to everyone that was watching the post game last night. We are doing a post game after Game 4. The post game after Game 3 was one of the best post games we've ever done, so you can check it out after this show if you'd like. Also, just throwing this out there to hit up foulterritoryshop.com. Some people were like, I want to give more love to FT. There's a good way to do it. I'm wearing something. Kratz is wearing something. AJ's almost always got the hat on too. So there you go. Yep. We've all got merch on. So appreciate you. And
do
now
I look like
we can get
Marlins man. Yeah. Do I look like Marlins man moving my hat around like all kinds of stupid ways?
You have to do this.
This is Marlins man
on every pitch.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Every pitch. He works for Fox. He's trying to get behind the crowd shot from behind home plate. Epic. All right, let's charge the mound.
Charging the mound.
And Charge the Mound is presented by MLB Rivals. Free to play game. Download it wherever you download your games. All right, what do you got for us?
What a game. What a game. I didn't know that a game could top the 15-inning game that we did at the end of the division series. But last night's kind of did. The only difference was it wasn't a winner-take-all game. But, I mean, from defensive plays, offensive plays, base running, miscues, base running good, offensive guys, Kratz's lock can't get any kind of hit for him. I mean, the only guy that couldn't come through was his guy. I mean, pitching, guys stepping up that have never – throwing more than 36 pitches, not 30 for all the people that were getting it wrong out there, 36 pitches in his big league career, throwing 4 innings. Eric Lauer going 4 2/3. I mean, what an epic game. And Freddie Freeman does it again. My boy, Freddie. I didn't text you today, Freddie, because I figured you got a million texts and I didn't want to be that guy. But thank you, Freddie, for finally ending this, because if you didn't hit that homer, Freddie, Shohei would be on his 12th intentional walk, and I'd still be sitting in the same spot, and I would have toothpicks in my eyes, holding them up like this. Ooh.
Yeah, well, how does this work though for game 4? Like how do guys recover from this? I mean, they go home, it's no big deal, Kratz, because I mean also it was on the West Coast, it wasn't that late. I mean, it was late, but it wasn't like crazy. And it's not like they're playing a night into a day game. To me, when I'm looking at the recovery time, I mean, it's more the game that was played. They'll get sleep, right? I mean, they have time to get whatever they get and then get to the ballpark.
I caught 2 18-inning games, not like coming in halfway. So I know where Will Smith's at. And I honestly, after both of those games, I was not sore. And I caught him when I was 36 and 39 were my 2 18-inning games. Like, you just kind of keep going through the motions. You just keep being ready. Maybe in 2 days you'd be sore, but soreness, that's like a hot cold tub. That's like some contrast, maybe a little ibuprofen. Like, you're ready to go. You're not sitting there in a game. He won't be sitting in their game tonight. Or at least I was not sitting in the next game going, oh, man, I can barely even move. Like, I don't even know how I'm going to be able to do this. Like, no, physically, you just go out there and do it. Mentally, you're like, I hope we don't do that again.
What about you, AJ?
I caught, I think, an 18-inning game in the minor leagues, and I caught a 19-inning game in the big leagues the day before the All-Star break, so I got lucky. And then but I had to go to the All-Star game, and it was the game where Ozzie told me he was the manager in 2006 that I wasn't going to play no matter what. So I kind of just sat there like this and was like, cheers, boys. You guys go get him. And I was the last guy on the bench. Coffee, 100%.
Coffee.
And I remember that it got down, and it was a close game, and Ozzie's like, you're our last position player. We might have to use you. And I was like, me? You're going to have to use me? Like, are you sure, Ozzie? Me? I've had too much coffee. And so didn't end up needing me. But, yeah, I mean, I wasn't sore. It was just more of I was a little bit tired because we had to jump on a flight after the game and fly to Pittsburgh, and we were in Chicago. But other than that, I wasn't sore. And I remember catching plenty of extra inning games being like, all right, I'm ready to go the next day. I think Will Smith will be fine. I think Alejandro Kirk will be fine. It's the freaking World Series. Figure it out. Go home, drink some extra coffee, whatever you got to do to get loose. I wasn't a big hot tub, cold tub guy, but some guys like that. Get a massage, whatever it takes to be ready. It's the World Series. These guys will be ready.
AJ, I liked what John Schneider said after the game about a, quote, devastating loss. He didn't say that part, but his reply to losing a tough game like this was one game. And I know it sounds simple, but, I mean, they're down 2-1. So I think the general public looks at what happened and says, oh, well, it's over now. I mean, that was such a grueling marathon that the Dodgers won. I mean, they've got all the momentum. It's over.
No, but I think it's more they look at the way the pitching is lined up. They push Bieber back. You have Shohei pitching tonight, who could be tired because he was on base 9 times last night, right? But Bieber didn't pitch great his last time out. He did, yeah. I mean, he did cramp. Drink some. What did talk to Glasnow? What's pickle juice? What did he say? He drinks pickle juice or whatever. Glasnow started drinking to get rid of his cramps. So Glasnow knows how to get rid of cramps. But yeah, I mean, I think it's because Bieber's pitching. You have Shohei on the mound, then you have Snell, Yamamoto, all those guys lined up. The biggest question mark for me though is who's going to pitch, because there's a bunch of guys that are down. I guess Bassett's available and some other guys are available, but you got to get some innings out of your starters today. So who's going to pitch? That's what's going to be fascinating to see who's available from the pitching side. And where's George Springer? Is George Springer okay today? Listen, it was one game. It just feels like when you use all these resources, the winner of these games usually comes out better. Now, I know when they had the 18-inning game last time in Dodger Stadium, the Red Sox used Evaldi for like 8 innings, and he ended up getting a loss, and they ended up winning the series. But the Blue Jays used a bunch more guys. The Dodgers used a bunch more guys. I just feel like with the Dodgers being at home, that's the momentum. That's the momentum that they're going to ride. But we'll see. We'll see. It's been a heck of a series. These first 3 games have been awesome to watch so far.
I mean, pitching matchup. They've been behind the 8 ball in the pitching matchup the whole time. I think when you talk about these 4 guys, Shohei, Yamamoto, Blake Snell, and Glasnow, to me, the most like physically intimidating monster, as they were talking about, as John Schneider was talking about, saying they're like Space Jam, was Glasnow. And I thought they had a good approach against him. You're going to have to develop your approach against Shohei. And that's how they get back in this. Like, it's a devastating loss only if you make it devastating. Only if you sit there and you're riding home on the bus like, oh, I had a chance. We could have won this. Or you're like, in the regular season, how am I going to get after Shohei? It's a night game after night game. It's not like we got a quick turnaround. What do I need to do? Is he going to spin a bunch of breaking balls up there like the last two right-handers have? Because if that's the case, I know what I need to sit on. And you start thinking about beating that guy. If you sit there and sulk about your loss, like we could have done this, should have done that, third base coach shouldn't have done, like you just keep bringing up negative stuff, and that doesn't help you win tonight's game.
Is there anything that the Dodgers can take out of shutting down the Blue Jays? What are we supposed to go?
No, I was just saying that what Kratz said is right. You just move on. This is again, This is the World Series. Okay, like one loss. Not that I've never lost a World Series game, so I don't know how it feels. But just saying, if you lose one game in the playoffs, you just move on to the next game. You don't even think about the last game. It's like baseball players. Most of them are really good at. You can compartmentalize almost anything in baseball. If you're a great player, you can shut things off in your brain. You can shut off home life. You can shut off things that are happening away from the field, right, Kratz? Like you can shut off losses. You can shut off bad at bats. If you can't, then you're not probably going to make it. So you have to be able to do that, and you become better and better as you get older. But it's one game. It's the World Series. Like, what are we thinking about here? It's the World Series. Move on.
I get that part. So we're showing the MLB Rivals cards of some of the Blue Jays bats right now, and Kirk was only in for what ended up being about half the game. Vladdy was in there. The Blue Jays have a dynamic offense, right? It's looked at as the best offense in baseball this year. Contact, slug, depth, etc. Vladdy doing what he's doing right now. Obviously, the Dodgers have a great offense as well. But the question I have is, did last night change things in terms of how to pitch this team, and that you have some relievers who have found it again? I brought this up on the postgame show. No, you don't think any of that was a thing last night? I mean, the Blue Jays didn't score for a long-ass time.
Yeah, it's because they had their whole bench in. Kratz, tell them. I mean, listen, these guys are big leaguers, but they had their bench in the game. No Bo, no Kirk, no Barger, no
Springer.
The other one? No Springer, right? So it changed it. Vladdy was like, no offense to these other guys, but Lucas didn't have a great night. Vladdy, they were like, okay, who's hitting behind Vladdy now? Oh, okay, we'll take our chances with that person, IKF, right? Not Vladdy. The guy, and then Heineman came in. No offense to Heineman, he's a big league player, but he's not Alejandro Kirk, especially after hitting the 3-run homer. So I think it was what they learned. They learned that they need to keep the starters in as long as possible. And for the Dodgers, I mean, if anything, the Dodgers should be more upset because they had, it was like bases loaded, Freddie up, Mookie up, Freddie up, Mookie up, Freddie up, fly ball to the warning track, fly ball to the warning track, fly ball. It's like, geez, maybe they need to figure out a way to get a hit. Maybe it's not on the Blue Jays.
I think the Blue Jays, when you can navigate a lineup, when you set out and you see the whole lineup, starting lineup or the guys that come in, you always know where certain guys are. And unfortunately, when you have Miles Straw in the game, when you have Heineman in the game, when you have your second pinch hitter in the game, Davis Schneider, after Ty France came out of the game, IKF is in the game, you sit there and you go, I know where they're at. I know that I don't need to make a pitch to Ernie Clement, who's been swinging it, Nathan Lucas, who's been swinging it. And if you go back and look at like challenge pitches, middle to some of those guys, they don't need to do it. And when these guys chase out of the zone, you get weaker contact. And then you get to the guys that you're like, okay, I can go middle with these guys because I know they're not going to take me out of the ballpark. I know they could get a base hit, but consistently drive the ball out of the yard. Like I just think people underestimate what it means to have holes in the lineup. I could watch it from the other side. When I was in the batting order, you could see, hey, we're not going to let the 6-hitter beat us because Kratz is on deck and we have one out. We have that. You figure out how to navigate lineups, and no more important than in the playoffs.
Yeah, look at the other side. I know the at-bats might look a little better the last couple games, but imagine if the 9 spot was getting on even a little bit more and how scary that would be for opposing pitchers facing Shohei Ohtani. Pais has been an auto out almost every time, and I think we all agree that he's the best option to start games, and he's the center fielder holding it down for a team that's got good up the middle defense here. But imagine if that was more of a problem spot. Oh, by the way, I just randomly thought about this. The one move where I was like, this is absolutely dumb and I disagree with this was intentionally walking Andres Jimenez. Do you guys agree with that? I'm like, that has to be something from the analytics office saying that this pitcher's pitches don't line up with Davis Schneider's swings. Because also, Davis Schneider this year is reverse splits. I know you want him against lefties, but he's got reverse splits. It's not like he can't hit right-handed pitching. So I'm like, you're walking Jimenez to get to Schneider? And then you're also getting yourself one step closer to Vladdy?
It worked. It worked.
He got a hit.
Okay.
Schneider got a hit.
But the Dodgers won the game.
They did.
I get it.
But I agree with you, Scott. I felt like that was kind of a brain fart. That was like there's a lefty up there. Well, let's wait. Yeah, let's walk him. You know, wait, no, wait. We've been getting this guy.
Kratz, listen, you want to know why? Because then you don't have, after the game, you don't have to answer the questions. Why'd you pitch to the lefty and say Jimenez gets a hit with the righty on deck? If you walk him, guess what? Then there's no questions. If Schneider gets a hit to win the game, then there's no questions. It's really this. You know this, Kratz. You've been around long enough, and I've been around long enough too. But here's the thing: like a lot of managers that you play for, and I'm not saying any manager, either manager in this series, but I played for managers that all they managed for was they had questions after the game. Right? Why did we bring in this guy? Why did we do this? Why did we do this? Whoa, so when the media asked me after the game, they won't admit it, but so the media after the game, when they asked me why we did that, I could say, well, we brought the lefty in to face the lefty, or we brought the righty in, whatever. You know how it is. And I'm not saying this is what happened there, but this definitely goes through their mind a lot of times as managers is, well, even though this might be a better matchup, but the left on right, if he gets the hit, then I'm never going to hear the end of it. Cheers.
Cheers. All right, that was good chat. We'll keep going on this, of course. We're going to take a different angle on the fun that was had during this stretch, including fruit platters, like you were getting a cabana at a beach club. We'll go over that coming up. We have a ton of guests too today, including Kevin Burkhardt from Fox, our buddy, joining us. But shout out to MLB Rivals. There's the game. Don't worry, Bryce, you're staying with the Phillies. Take on the World Series with 2025 live cards that we showed you while we were chatting. And the game now features baseball legends from the National Baseball Hall of Fame available as brand new cards. MLB Rivals is free to download on the Apple App Store, Google Play, or also available on Steam. Bryce will take us into a quickie break, and then we'll come back and give you more on the World Series.
In baseball, one thing defines your legacy: the Hall of Fame, a place reserved for immortals, the chosen few who have sacrificed, fought, and bled for the game.
Harper with a rainmaker!
With every swing, every play, every challenge faced.
Harper is not happy about that.
It's about achieving greatness that echoes through time. And now is your time to rise to the challenge, chase immortality, and become a legend. Download MLB Rivals.
Hey, if you want to take care of yourself, your body, and everything that goes into health, fitness, and nutrition, Superpower provides Kratz what I would call the pro experience for the everyday person.
100%. Super easy. You get your lab test results back, and you can streamline exactly what you're deficient in. You can say, okay, this is what the results told me. I'm going to go ahead and maybe look for that in a supplement, which they provide. I'm going to go ahead and look at that in my daily workouts, which they give so many different ideas of how to make sure your deficiencies become some of your superpowers?
Superpower used to cost $499. Head to superpower.com right now to learn more and lock in the special $199 price while it lasts. After you sign up, they'll ask you how you heard about them and make sure you mention FT. Your biology decoded, your blueprint activated with Superpower. Hey, we're back. We have a super chat too that I'll read. Mikey said, no bullpen who? Back-to-back champs. Not yet. Keep in mind, we're missing key arms in the bullpen. Phillips, Kopech, Gratterall, Vesia, Kasparius, Scott. And he said trade for Scoogle with the hashtag. You want to really make people excited. But a couple other people in the chat have brought up depth, AJ, and I do think that part's important. The front office nerds out to decide who is the last pitcher that they are going to put on the roster, and that changes frequently for almost any team throughout each round. Whoever raised their hand and said Will Klein's got to be on there, good job.
Yeah, but they had Will Klein pitching in a blowout, not in a 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th of a pivotal World Series game. I mean, yeah, good job for them, but yeah, awesome for Will Klein too. A moment he'll never forget. His family will never forget. That if they go on and win the series, the Dodger lore will never forget. So great job for whatever guy picked him, but yeah, they didn't envision him doing this.
Brent Honeywell of 2025. Brent Honeywell doesn't have a job right now. Brent Honeywell came on our show before 2024, and he was like, I'm going to pitch in the big leagues. I'm a big league pitcher. And then he freaking went out and balled out for the Dodgers.
I think his arm will never forget. Do you think his arm was going to be okay when you haven't pitched like that before? You guys said he'd gone 30 plus, but not 60
36. 36
Okay.
was his high in the big leagues.
Right.
I guess we'll never know. Yeah, that's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
Our friends Katie Wu and Evan Drellick on the scene talking to many players about what was going on during the 18-inning marathon from an amenities perspective. Amenities has been a big topic lately for us, right? The Angels don't have AC. Yeah, the Dodgers are serving fruit platters. I mean, for both sides. We saw that for Vladdy Jr. It was a great shot that was picked up by the Fox cameras. Dodgers reliever Jack Dreyer said, we had like a whole game after I came out. Me and the rest of the guys at the bench were trying to figure out things to get rallies going. He said, I had steak at some point. So for those long games, are they checking with you? Like, give me the inside scoop from a team perspective, AJ. I'm saying, is the team like, hey, do you guys want anything? Like, how does that work from a player perspective? You just go in the clubhouse yourself and stuff is laid out, like energy bars and fruit and whatever else. Like, tell us anything you can access wise.
Usually the it's either the strength coach or the trainer, Kratz, right? That comes up to you and says, hey, do you want something? Are you hungry? Do you need anything? I mean, teams have nutritionists now, so I'm sure there's nutritionists running around now that say, hey, do you want something? Back in the day, if we went extra innings, the strength coach would come up, hey, you want a banana? You want a protein bar? And most of the time I try not to eat because I didn't want to Pete Alonso mistime my coffee problem. So I tried to not eat. But yeah, guys, listen, if you're a pitcher and you're a reliever out of the game, sometimes you go in the clubhouse, them dudes are in there with a full 5-course meal, eating their steak and their potatoes and their vegetables, and you're out there grinding on the 15th inning going, oh, my stomach's rumbling, but I don't want to eat because if I eat, I might miss an inning in doing the wrong thing. So I tried not to eat as much, but every once in a while I'd sneak a banana or an energy bar if I was just feeling a little bit run down. But yeah, there's people there that are like, you want this to drink, you want this, and heck, I'll be honest, sometimes you even went for a rally beer.
If you're not in, maybe that rally beer will get the boys a knock. Who knows? Who knows what happened before Freddie hit that homer? I hated going into the clubhouse when I was playing. Like if I was changing my uniform because it was too sweaty or something, I would do it in the hallway right outside of the dugout. Like going into the clubhouse and like smelling that night's food, like sometimes it would just repulse me. Like I was like, ugh. Or like seeing guys just like this on the couch, like looking at the TV, watching the game, and you're like, I just got hit in the toe by a fastball. Like, I'm hurting here. So anything I would eat, it would always be on the bench. Guys would always have, what were they? They would have the the nut butter. They had the packets that you would like squeeze out the peanut butter. And then they had applesauce. That was, they started bringing them out in a little basket and stuff by the end of my career. It kind of got a little bougie. Not fruit tray bougie, but it got a little bougie.
Yeah, there were melons, bananas, all kinds of stuff that was coming out there on that fruit tray.
The problem with the fruit tray, though, is if you eat fruit, like it gives you that rush. It's like drinking a soft drink, right? It gives you that rush, but then you kind of have that crash because the sugar wears off if you're out there long enough. So I tried to, other than a banana, I tried to stay away from the fruit pregame. You need to eat some protein and stuff. So I'm surprised there wasn't more protein bars eaten and things like that. But hey, they all got through it. And it was, it was a cool story because people got to tell what they were doing and this and that. Listen, I remember when we went in 14 innings in Houston in 2005. Jeff Blum hit the home run. At the time, it was the longest World Series game in history. I'll be honest, I was sitting in the couch with Kenny Williams drinking a beer when he hit the home run. So, because I had been double switched out in like the 10th inning. So, I mean, listen, everyone has their own thing. We were sitting in there having a beer, and I remember Kenny Williams said, if we win tonight, it's over because this is our shot at Oswald. We end up winning the game with Blum, and then we won the next game and swept them. So, people do their own things. I mean, that's the game Mark Burley came in and didn't have anything to drink before he got the save.
For anyone listening podcast wise, there were mini quotes popped up just to cover that. Mini quotes. Okay. All right. Let's keep talking about this series. We'll get the Toronto perspective from Shi Davidi joining us next. He's up. Hey, FT is presented by Fox One. That's where you can watch the rest of the World Series. Doesn't matter how long it takes, the app can handle it for you. Foul Territory, obviously, it's been presented by Fox One the entire postseason. That includes AJ's 18-inning marathon. So now we've had 2 18-inning marathons, but you can start your free trial today.
15.
7-day free trial. Oh, sorry, 15. 15.
We did 15, Scott. But by the way, thank God for Fox One, so I could watch the game last night because that's the only thing that kept me awake. I mean, I was sitting here from the 9th inning in this exact spot, and I was slowly like this. At about 2 a.m., Fox One kept me awake and this and that. But I was like, man, are we really doing a post game at 3 a.m? And Mark, of course, was like, yeah. And for Fox One, and thank you, Fox One, for keeping me awake.
How great is Fox One? 7-day free trial. That game was so long, you used it all up in one day.
True.
That's good. Kratz was waiting on that one since last night. That's good. I like that. There he is. Thank you. Hit the QR code. All right. Next up, before we talk to Shi, we got 1 minute. Stephen Strasburg is back in baseball. He is going to be a coach at San Diego State. He is a San Diego State alum. Tony Gwynn, the late Tony Gwynn, was his coach back when he was there. But current coach is Kevin Vance. And he said Strasburg's arguably the best pitcher in college baseball history. What makes this announcement special is how much he cares about this program, the city, and giving back to the game. He's a proud Aztec in San Diegan, and he's never forgotten his roots. He's a quiet guy, but good for him. He wants to stay in the game. It's one of those guys where he didn't know if he was just going to disappear forever, but he's back pretty quickly, AJ.
Good for him. Plus, he lives in San Diego. He's from San Diego. He went to school there. I mean, this is an easy thing for him. I'm sure they probably don't have to pay him a whole lot of money. I think he's still getting paid from the Nationals. So I just feel like this is an easy transition. He wants to help some kids, and good for you, Stephen. Listen, Stephen Strasburg, whatever you want to say about him, the times I've been around him, he's been really quiet, but he's knowledgeable and he's really nice when you get to talk to him. So good for you. Maybe you can help some kids become the next Stephen Strasburg.
Yeah. I mean, with him, it wasn't a performance question. It's just he always was a bit with injuries. Yeah. Here he is, Shi Davidi, Sportsnet baseball columnist, joining us right now. Good morning to you, Shi. And I'm returning the favor. I think I'm doing Sportsnet radio on tomorrow morning. I think it is at 7 or 8 a.m. or something like that. But good to see you.
All
Looks
right.
like a bright, sunny day. So first off, just aftermath and how everything went for you, and also what you caught post game from a player perspective in terms of some crazy things that you heard or saw.
I think mostly the impression I had was everyone was just exhausted, right? And that was the exact word. I said to Dalton Varsho, I'm like, describe that experience. He's just like exhausting, and that was it. And I just think there are a lot of guys who were fried physically for sure, but mentally perhaps even more so. It was such an intense game with so many ups and downs, twists and turns. And there's the obvious laments, the missed opportunities, the chances with scoring position, the couple of mistakes that they made. There is obviously anytime you lose a game, but especially a game like that. I mean, there's just so much. I mean, there's literally 2 games in one there, and enough drama for 4 or 5 at least. So that was the general vibe. But then there was also the classic 20-25 Blue Jays. I mean, yeah, we'll be back tomorrow, no sweat. This is what we do, and so that was pretty evident in a lot of the conversations as well.
Hey, Shi, as much as we want to talk about how tired the players are, how tired are you? And what did you do for 18 innings? They're talking about fruit platters. They're talking about eating steaks. They're talking about this and that. What did the reporters do? You guys were sitting up there grinding away. How many different stories did you write on your computer, and how many different plots did you have before the end came?
Well, the first one that I submitted is very different from the second version that I submitted. And initially I had this really great story on Max Scherzer that I hope to find another way to use down the road. But Max Scherzer ended up becoming he started out as one of the main characters and ended up becoming a bit player in the way that game turned out. Crazy as it is to say. Those games are super fun in a sense because it's changing so much constantly, and then what is important early becomes secondary later. But as it went along, it just starts becoming okay. I've got to have something ready to go here because it's like 3 in the morning or 4 in the morning, whatever it was back home when people are going to be editing this or reading this. So I better just have something ready to go, and then the second version that I came after talking to guys in the clubhouse was quite different, and I hope a little bit better than the first version I submitted.
How much level of concern was there last night in the clubhouse for Springer? Like, what was the feeling? I know everyone's like, oh, the MRIs, wait to hear what it says. But was it kind of like, you know what? We definitely lost Springer for the series.
I don't know that anybody was willing to go let themselves think, okay, we've lost Springer for the series, but obvious concern. And, John Schneider was trying to, be glass half full, even though he's like, yeah, this sucks. And how much he's meant to our team. There was just a lot of stuff to be careful with. So I think they want to make sure what the MRI says, see how he feels. I mean, Springer, as you guys know, just incredibly tough. He plays through so much. It's tough to play through an oblique if that's what it is, and that's the guess based on what limited stuff we heard. If you don't have your oblique, you can't swing the way that you need to swing. And he's already got his knee and other ailments that the wrist, the stuff that he's playing through. So that would be a devastating blow for the Blue Jays. But it does give them maybe a little bit of flexibility in terms of, well, now you can DH Bo Bichette and have a cleaner defensive alignment out on the field, so that if it ends up being that he can't play tonight or has to come out of the series, that's the very, very dull silver lining that there would be to that. But I think the Blue Jays weren't ready to go there just yet, and a lot of hope and a lot of optimism that Springer's going to be okay, if not for this game, then for later in the series.
All right. Yeah, that sucks that Springer could miss some time at all because he's one of their big guys, as we all know. So what about Bieber? What can Bieber give you tonight? Because he did warm up last night. They showed him on the mound throwing, kind of getting ready to go. So what can Shane Bieber give the Blue Jays tonight? And will him warming up affect, because I think it will at least a little bit, affect him in tonight's game 4?
Maybe, maybe it will affect him, but I think one of the things that was working in their favor a little bit is that that flip in the rotation with he was 3 and 7 against the Mariners, and now he's 4 in this series. There was a little bit of extra time, a little bit of extra rest, and so I don't think he got super hot. It was just loosening up to be ready just in case. There was a 19th or a 20th or whatever, but we'll see, right? The extra rest was important. The Blue Jays felt that that was something that would be good for him, especially considering how much he's already put on his arm coming back from the Tommy John surgery and everything. And ultimately, the Blue Jays need innings from him just as much as the Dodgers need innings from Ohtani tonight, right? Like, I mean, they literally used everyone in their bullpen. Eric Lauer made would have been one of their longest outings of all postseason out of the bullpen in relief. So you figure he's down. They got multiple innings from other guys. So a lot of extension last night, but everybody will find a way to reset as much as possible. But yeah, the Blue Jays definitely be counting on a lot from Bieber. And I think if they see his command with the fastball, then they figure everything else is going to fall into place. That's usually the case with him. But it's come and gone throughout the postseason, and he's found ways to get through some outings. But they need him to do a little bit more than just get through an outing. They need, I would say, at least 5 from him to have a good shot at winning this one tonight.
One of the guys that didn't pitch much was Chris Bassett. Any idea if they're okay with him back to back? I mean, I know that's crazy to say out of a normal bullpen, but you're talking about a starter who had an injury at the end of the season. So are they okay with a back to back? Because if that's the case, it makes their bullpen even shorter if they're not okay with it.
Yeah, I think they will be, and I know that Chris Bassett will be. And anytime I ask him anything to do with usage, he's like, I can do anything and everything that they want, as many innings as they want. I'm ready. And Chris is one of the ultimate competitors. No fear, finds ways to work with whatever he's got on a given day. And even though he did finish the season on the injured list with that back issue, he was of the mind that he could have pitched if needed, and he had pitched through that for a few starts there towards the end of the season. But they decided that since there was no need and they had some flexibility, that was better to just let him get some rest and see if he can fully reset himself for the postseason, which he did. So I would expect that Chris Bassett would be available. Now, how many? Expecting multiple innings might be too much, but I will say this: the couple times we've seen Chris Bassett in leverage so far in this postseason, I've really liked what I've seen, and he's obviously a good starter, and you're never going to walk away from a starter, but he'd be pretty interesting working out of the bullpen and getting some creative usage there. Just because I think his stuff plays differently and he attacks a little bit differently, and it's a really intriguing look.
Carlos Feebles, the third base coach, did you see him in the clubhouse afterwards? Did he feel like, or did you hear anybody say like, hey, it's not a big deal? Because there was a couple sends there that, especially the one with Davis Schneider with Vlad on deck, not saying they wouldn't have walked him, but just saying, like, was there any kind of conversation, or did you see any body language that says like, he was pretty bummed?
I did not see Carlos after the game, but I was thinking through that play specifically a few times, and the Blue Jays obviously know Teoscar Hernandez really well, having had him on the club. Eblis knows him well from being with the Red Sox all those years before he joined the Jays. So there's a lot of familiarity there. Like, Hernandez played that perfectly. It's a perfect relay to Edmund. Edmund's a perfect relay home. Like the Dodgers had to be on the money with that. And I think in that spot, you're thinking that Vlad could get walked or see nothing to hit, and then it's Isaiah Kiner Falefa behind him afterwards, and you're like, that might be the shot, and let's force the Dodgers to make this play. And again, Teoscar Hernandez has an amazing arm, but like sometimes it's not always accurate, which we've seen also in this series. So I think that ultimately the choice there was, let's force the Dodgers to make the play. The Dodgers made the play, and the Blue Jays have to live with it. I didn't hate it in real time, even though Guerrero is on deck. The Dodgers could have avoided him, and then where are you at? And then maybe you're regretting not forcing the Dodgers to be perfect in their execution. So I think there were a lot of different laments, but I think more of the laments that I was hearing in the clubhouse was about different opportunities with runners in scoring position where guys couldn't find the hit, as opposed to that one specifically.
Listen, if Carlos Febles ever gets down, Shy, just give him some cookies, okay? I played against him in the Gulf Coast League. We called him Cookie Monster because he just ate cookies. Every time I see him, I'm like, Cookie Monster, and he just starts laughing. So just if he ever gets down, just walk up to him and give him some cookies, okay? He'll eat the whole box of them, all right? Especially with his old gray beard, okay? We're all getting there, Shy. So I get it. Here's my thing. I had no problem with that send because of everything you just said. Listen, Carlos had thought about this. And he, like you said, it took a perfect relay. Plus, they were going off the throw that Teoscar made earlier in the game where he pulled it to the left of home plate. And so he's thinking if he just misses the cutoff man by a step, then he's safe at home. Unfortunately for the Blue Jays fans, he made a perfect relay. Edmund made a perfect relay. It was like Barker's throw earlier in the game where he threw out Freddie at home. It was just perfectly executed. I mean, it was part of the game. I had no problem with that thing because, like you said, guess what? Vladimir Guerrero ain't getting a hit in that situation. They're going like this. And then it's going to be on IKF. So I have no problem with that. Push the envelope. It didn't look like they were going to score any other way. Try to get that running. As that run scores, they probably win the game. So, Carlos, you're fine for me.
Yeah, I agree, and yeah, I'm not worried about Carlos being down at all. That guy, if you ever see him not smiling, then I mean I've never seen it. So a lot of energy, a lot of positivity for him, and I mean sometimes baseball just happens, right? I like you said, and great teams make great plays sometimes, and sometimes you got to force that into them. And if it goes the other way a little bit, we're talking about what a great send that was, and not having this conversation. But there's so many other opportunities. To me, that's not the most glaring missed chance, right? You can go back to the weird play in the second inning with, when Varsho thought it was ball four and Bo Bichette ends up getting picked off at second base. There were the Blue Jays lost probably at least a run that inning, maybe more. They had other opportunities to score in, I don't know, like almost every inning. I can't remember which numbers. Definitely the 10th, the 12th, the 18th. There were other opportunities. So it was not for want of other chances that they were in that situation. And I know John Schneider has been getting a lot of criticism for emptying the bench, and the way the lineup ended up being the way they finished the game. But he tried to win at different points, and it just didn't work out. And you can never know when you're taking your shot that, oh yeah, you're going to be playing a second game afterwards. So I didn't mind when Straw pinch ran for Barger, because you're trying to get a little bit benefit on the bases there. Maybe you can score another run, or when Heineman came in for Kirk, or some of the other moves that really depleted the batting order. But you're playing for that little edge to score a run. You're going for it. And sometimes you have to give your players a shot in a moment, and it leaves you weaker afterwards, but you probably would feel worse if you didn't take that shot in the moment and didn't have that opportunity. So there are so many things that you can debate. I'm not sure that send would be high on my list.
And the Dodgers are really good. They're favored. If you're Toronto, you're going to have to do some things to take risks, that if they work out, we go, oh, remember when they pinch ran so-and-so and then he scored the winning run by this much? So I get it. I totally get it.
There were so many things in this game that happened that you forget, like the Bo Bichette. Bo Bichette I mean, that would if they would have lost in 9 innings by a run, that would have been everyone would have been like, "What the heck is he doing?" Right? So because it went 18 innings, people kind of forget about that, and they forget about Vlad scoring from first on a ball, barely got to the right fielder down the right field. There's so many things that happen in this game. Freddie getting thrown out of the plate, Kirk throwing out Shohei trying to steal. Like because this game went so long, there were so many things you just kind of forget about. You almost have to rewatch it to think like, gosh, like that. I forgot that happened because it was 2 days ago.
Yeah, like the Guerrero throw to third to get Hernandez too to nip another inning in the bud there. I think there's so many. Yeah, like you guys said, that game was. I mean, again, literally 2 games, and enough to fill four. But the other thing that about the Blue Jays is that everything that they did is in line with the way they played throughout the regular season, right? It's not like they suddenly went off script and they're just pulling things out of their butt to try and make things happen. That is the way they've played all season. They've switched up in those moments. They've tried to seize different opportunities and utilize specific skill sets in specific moments. It gets magnified obviously when it doesn't work out and a game gets extended the way that it did. And full credit, and we haven't even mentioned Eric Lowry yet and the job that he did, but like the bullpens managed to just keep that one going. But that the Blue Jays did not behave out of character. They played their game. The Dodgers just outlasted them.
Right. That's the brand of Blue Jays baseball. Shi's watching every pitch all year, so he knows. You can follow him at Shi Davidi, SHI Davidi. Shi, great to see you as always. Really appreciate it. Thanks for hopping on. I know it was a long one, but almost there. A few days left potentially to go in here in the World Series in the season, and then some rest.
Yeah, all good guys, especially when it's a game that's going to be, historic like that. It's always a privilege to be at those games. So good seeing you guys. Have a good one.
Thank you. You too. Enjoy the next one. That's Shi Davidi joining us on FT. Kevin Burkhardt from Fox coming up next. This episode is brought to you by Square. Your favorite neighborhood spots run on Square. Square is a proud partner of more than 4 million neighborhood businesses around the world. These businesses are what make the neighborhood the neighborhood. You and I are both in Orlando, and I see Square all the time at those awesome farmers markets around town.
And a lot of restaurants in general just have this to where they have the little thing plugged into their phone and you stick your card in it and wham, bam, we're out. It's cool. It's a way for local businesses to make money and make it easy on not only them, but also on me, the consumer, because Lord knows I'm not making or selling anything.
No, and it's a tap or on your phone, you double click.
You can even insert your chip if you want to, swipe it. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's changed the game. You can go to square.com/go/foul to learn more. But before you do, go support your favorite neighborhood spot. You'll be happy that you did. Again, square.com/go/FOUL to learn more. Square. See you in the neighborhood. Get after it, FT fam. Hey, we can put up this tweet. This was before Game 3. Ernie Clement, who is great with the media, was asked about George Springer getting booed in LA, obviously. He said, quote, "When he gets booed, I usually boo him as well." He thinks it actually inspires George. He's used to it. It's been a long time, AJ. I mean, the Astros trash can scandal was out in 2019. It's 2025. And the punishment really for those players was, hey, for the rest of your career, if you're tied to that team, fans are going to give it to you more than they usually would. It is what it is.
Listen, as somebody that thrived off booing, I wanted my teammates would boo me at times just to get me going. So I get it. George Springer thrives off this. There's certain guys. I think Bregman a little bit thrives off this. Altuve, I think, took it a little more personal. But listen, I'm going to tell you what people once told me. They ain't booing you. They ain't booing nobodies, okay? And they usually boo you because you broke their heart. So if they're booing you, you usually did something to break their heart. So go get them, George, if you're able, if you're healthy.
Facts. I got booed one time at a visiting park. It's because I got in Joey Votto's face. So they booed me for like 3 at-bats. That was it.
So good. So good. Yeah, George is used to it. He's been very clutch for a long time. And a good morning to Kevin Burkhardt joining us now. Good morning, KB. Wow, that was fun. Obviously, you can hear KB with Big Papi, Derek Jeter, A-Rod, pre-post, covering the World Series. They're there. It's also on Fox 1, which we're presented by here for the month. So, what's the first thing that comes out of your mouth when someone asks you about this game?
What's up, boys? First of all, thanks for having me. Good to be alive and awake and still trying to figure out what the hell I just witnessed because I have no idea. It was crazy. We're watching it, and our whole thing is like, okay, we're just here, and when we're getting ready to do the post game show, you're always kind of like in a holding place somewhere so you could get on the field quick. So we're not on the field. We're watching a TV, and we're all saying, okay, it's going to go to the 18th inning and Muncy's going to win it again, right? I mean, that's just kind of the way that it felt like it was tracking. And then, of course, Freddie wins it. We got to the point where, I don't know, maybe the 17th inning, I was talking to Derek, and I was like, I don't even remember what happened in this game. Like, there were so many great defensive plays and things that happened like 4 hours ago. It was just, it was unbelievable. I mean, I can't, of all the things, I just can't get over the fact that today's starting pitcher was on 9 times last night. It's a freaking joke. It really is.
All right. First of all, grab that Theragun behind you and use it on yourself here before you get ready for tomorrow. And this is the first time I can honestly say, KB, this is the first time I've ever seen you with a hat on and your hair not perfectly done. So I'm just thankful to you for coming on with us. But what did you guys do during this time? Because I've been there. I've been in this situation. I've been through rain delays. I've had to fill. And you're just sitting there waiting and waiting and waiting. So did you guys at any point, did you, Alex, Jeets, or David say, hey, guys, can we just get a ride back to the Fox Avocado Room so we can get some sugarfish and enjoy the night instead of having to hang out here at Dodger Stadium?
Hey, brother, you know how it is, right? And, like, obviously you did that monster game, with Seattle and Detroit. But when you're sitting there waiting, it's like you get to that point. The key thing is you get to the point where you're like, all right, are we going to dive back in and go like full dinner mode again and just eat like a house right now and crush everything? Or do we just try to stay diligent and drink like hot tea and water? It's a very dicey, there might have been some popcorn and Sour Patch Kids that were devoured. Like, you just cross that line. And then you're just going to be up till like 5 a.m. That's why I texted you last night. I was like, hey, dude, like, I have no idea what time I'm getting up tomorrow. I'll just text you when I'm up. We'll do the show.
I appreciate it.
What was your favorite moment? Was it Will Klein's performance? Was it Eric Lauer's performance? Now you look back on it, let's see, was it Shohei's performance? Was it the fact that Max threw harder than he had since like 2022 or something like that? So what was your favorite? You have to pick one. We don't sit on the fence and say, oh, I'll take 2 of them. I'll take 2 of my favorites. One favorite.
No. Kratzy, I mean, I think it's like the Kershaw moment was pretty special. It really was. I mean, you just, it's funny because, Dodgers put him on the roster and we're all like, how are they going to use him here? Like, what are they going to do? He had that kind of awkward outing, out of the bullpen against Philly. And, you just want him to go out the right way. He's one of the best players ever to do it. And he comes into that spot and you're like, holy cow. And I'm watching with the guys and it's bases low. It's not a soft landing spot, for a guy who I know he's done it before, but not used to coming out of the pen. It's like, here's bases loaded, go face a guy who's a pretty good hitter. And it was nerve-wracking watching that. I just thought it was so awesome. If that's the last time he's on the mound to get a key spot in the 12th inning of an epic game, to me, if I'm picking a moment, that's it.
Right. That might have been the goodbye. I mean, AJ will say, hey, they might need him. You don't know how this series is going to twist and turn. Right? So my question is, you're watching, you're telling us your perspective. Are you sitting there the whole time and watching with Papi Jeter and A-Rod? And if so, what were they saying? Or was there one standout line? Even if it was just, a big Papi random joke. We know how he's got one-liners for days.
he's got one-liners for these. No, we're all watching it together, and it's fun. The cool thing for me, and Scott, you know this, right? Like when you're around these great players, and you just sitting there and talking ball and watching with them is like the coolest thing. It's like watching with your friends, but elevated. So I was just sitting there being the nerd, like, all right, what would you do here? What would you do here? Who do you like here? That type of thing. And part of it's just fun watching the game, and part of it's picking their brains to see what we talk about on the post-game show. So it was cool. Poppy had his moments, just making people laugh, and maybe made a couple phone calls in between. It's just, you never know what you get there with David, who's the best. So yeah, we were all fully engaged, and amazingly get done. You still sit in LA Dodger traffic when you're out. So like that's all part of the experience.
That was going to be my question at the end. There had to be no traffic, but you already answered it. So what about when you guys are watching?
Plenty of traffic, man. Go ahead. I didn't hear you, Kratzy. Sir, go ahead.
Oh, no. I was just going to say, when you guys were watching and Dave Roberts went on and he said, I think he was talking to Verducci, and he goes, yeah, we're going to go with Will Klein, and then after that, we're going to go position player. What did the three players on your panel, what was their reaction? Because I know what my reaction was, but I want to hear what the good players' reaction was.
Poppy said, let's bring back the home run derby from the All-Star game when that happened. And I think we all were thinking the same thing. It's funny, right? Like, sometimes you go through those games and, and there were some lulls, obviously, in extra innings. And you are like, I know people don't like it. They want to have the sanctity of the extra innings, but like, there is something to playing a regular season one way and then changing and not having a second base runner. But I get it. I understand why you don't do it. But, I think the other story is Toronto, they made all these moves earlier in the game, and I can't blame them for any of them. They're trying to pinch hit, trying to win the game, but they just had no chance to score. I mean, they just didn't. It was basically, you felt like, at least from us, like Vlad's either going to hit a home run or they're not going to score. Springer gets hurt. Kirk, who's hitting everything, gets taken out for a pinch runner. They take out Barger a long time ago, and it just felt like it needed a miracle. And I also didn't, I was also wondering if anyone was going to be able to get a ball out of there, with the marine layer kind of coming in. It was that kind of night. And, obviously Will Smith thought he got it. He bat flipped. And then I thought Teoscars was going to go too. So I was just impressed that Freddie was able to drill one to center field and actually get it out of there last night.
KB, you got to interview Shohei. So, and not only that, Shohei did an interview post-game last night, I think with Ken, which I don't know if I've ever seen before. So how do you think he'll be tonight? Because he was on base 9 times last night, right? How do you think he'll be today? And what was it like getting to be one of the few guys that's ever got to sit down with Shohei Ohtani and talk to him one-on-one?
Yeah, Age, it was awesome. I was lucky enough to do it with him last year too, so it was cool that he wanted to do it again. And as you know, he doesn't do those, right? So I think it was just cool that he agreed to do it and felt comfortable to do it. And I think two things. First of all, I just think it's cool to see some personality from him, because he's such a mystery to people who want to like dive into his life a little bit. And I think he's just gotten so much more comfortable. He admitted that in our interview. Like he feels so much more comfortable this time, just kind of wanted to be one of the team last time. And I think you're seeing that obviously in his performance. When I talked to him last week, it was hilarious. I asked him if that game 4 of the NLCS was his best game. And he said, he's like, I'm just disappointed I didn't pitch through the 7th inning. I'm like, disappointed? What? You threw a 2-hitter and hit 3 home runs, man. So I think tonight, to answer the second part of your question, I think he's going to kill it. I really do. I just think this is his world right now. We're all living in it. I think he's totally engaged. He does a post-game interview last night, and then he's in the clubhouse, and he's, Dave's giving a speech, and he's kind of rocking and, giving you delivery and laughing. Like I just think there is nothing that can stop him right now. And as good as Toronto's offense is, I think they're going to miss Springer a lot. And I think Shohei is going to just be awesome. That's my gut.
Are they going to even throw to Shohei? Because there was a future Hall of Famer on deck behind him. Has there ever been a future Hall of Famer that's been somebody's intentionally walked in front of him to get to Mookie Betts?
I think at some point what's going to happen is Mookie's going to deliver. I mean, Mookie's just too good of a player, and he's been in a little bit of a rut. I can't blame John Schneider for not pitching to the guy. I don't blame. I mean, obviously he broke all kinds of records last night, but it's wild in a postseason game in a do or die in extra innings. You're putting a guy on base. It's like, it's unheard of. And I think they're going to keep doing that today. But at some point, Mookie's going to make him pay. He's just too good. And I know he has been in a little bit of a rut, but I think I could see that happening all day long tonight.
KB.
Yo.
Here's my thing. You're a Mets fan. You grew up a Mets fan. You used to work for the Mets.
You
What's
did.
it like being a Mets fan, having to watch the Dodgers and the Mets not even being around? I mean, listen, as a White Sox fan, listen, you're a lot better off as a Mets fan, but what's it like? I know you try to be impartial, but is there a little bit of you who's like, man, the Dodgers are what the Mets could be if they did it right?
Oh my! Listen, at least you have the Pope, AJ. Like, at least you got
That's
that.
true.
Like,
At least the Pope knows who I am, KB. The Pope knows who I am.
100%, the Pope knows who you are. Are you kidding me? Being a Mets fan, you grow up a Mets fan, and like you're just kind of, it is what it is, right? So we've got 86, which is one of the greatest of all time. I was fortunate enough to work with those guys and become friends with a lot of those guys on the team, obviously with Ronnie Darley and Keith Hernandez for a long time. And that was a highlight for me. Still good friends. But I think the reality is Mets fans just can't have nice things. And I learned that at an early age. And I think that's just part of the deal, and that really goes all the way back to, speaking of the Dodgers, 1988, because that was supposed to be the Mets year. They were great that year, after 87 losing, okay, we all felt like they're going to win it again. They were obviously a great team. And then Socha hits a home run off Doc Gooden, and that was the end. And it really, for the most part, has been the end, up until the 15 World Series when Matt Harvey is throwing a gem, gets left in. And I loved him staying in that game. And then obviously the Royals get him. So AJ, we just can't have nice things, and at least you do have the Pope. So you've got the Pope, and you've got Frank Thomas. So good, you got.
Yeah, exactly. We have two people that you can count. But here, okay. Now my next question is this: people that don't know this behind the scenes, yes, we have earpieces in, and there's a guy in your ear, and his name is Bardia that is in your ear. Okay, for the pregame. Have you ever wanted to just go and tell Bardia to shut the hell up in your ear? Because I've been there with Bardia. And I know he's in your ear, and he's like, KB, you need to say this. KB, try this. Say this. And you're like, dude, I got this, Bardia. Can you just stop? Have you ever wanted to hit the talk back and be like, Bardia, shut the hell up?
So I love Bardia.
Well, we all love Bardia.
Yes, but he learned long ago to stop talking to me during the show. Because the fun of these shows, AJ, we've worked together, right? Like like my personality. The beauty of the great thing about all the people that make us so good is that they let us just roll, right? And like we're just doing the show like we are watching the game. There's just cameras on us. I think at least that's what we're trying to do, right? And truly, I can tell you this: like obviously the pregame you go through, and there are things that are scripted and things that are planned. The postgame is like completely off the cuff. Like we go in and we talk about, hey, let's talk about X, Y, and Z. But I can honestly tell you when we get 10 minutes in the post game, I have no idea where we're going in the next 5 minutes. So I think that's what makes it fun. And Bardia has he's got to leave me alone. I think, how that.
I wish Bardia would leave me alone even when I see him sometimes, but he can't. So it's fine. It's fine. I love Bardia.
All right. I miss you, buddy. We don't get to work together anymore.
I know. You're big time. That's my next question. You're so big time. I never get to see you. I never get to work. You used to call games with me, with the B team on Saturday. Now you're calling Super Bowls. So which one is it? Is it a Super Bowl or is it a World Series 18-inning game? Which one means more to Kevin Burkhardt when he's on the call or he's on the pre and post? Like, which one is it for you, KB? Because you called the Super Bowl and now you've called 18-inning World Series games as pre and post. Which one would you rather do?
Don't do that to me, AJ, man. Come on.
Well, Joe Buck used to always say baseball. So, I mean, I don't know. Everyone has different feelings.
Listen, I would say this. I obviously love both sports. I have my entire life. I've loved both sports. My family. If you're going to make me pick one, it's hard for me to not pick the Super Bowl because I'm calling it. And it's just so special. There's been, 11 people on earth who have gotten a chance to call those games. Does that mean that I don't love being at the World Series and don't take every single second and enjoy it and know how lucky I am? It doesn't. So I'll give the answer to your question, but I love doing both. So there you go.
All right. Well, I have to make you pick. Who would you rather work with? No, who would you rather work with? Tom Brady or AJ Pierzynski, but you have to work with them. And Fox has a new stipulation. They have to be your roommate. You guys get 2 queen beds in the same room.
You had me. My answer was AJ until that. That's over now. Roommates. Come on. We got sharing a booth is one thing. Roommates.
KB, I am only me. Tom, you know Brady has like those guys that are with him 24/7. I don't have a posse. Like I don't have the hangers. I mean the guys, the hangers on guys that do everything for Tom. It's just me. So like when I had to go to the bathroom, KB, it would just be me. It wouldn't be me and 3 other guys. And Tom's great, but I don't have the people that Tom has, and that's understandable.
Well, I love Tom. Obviously, we become really close, and I think his condo might be a little bigger than yours. So I'm going to stick with TV on this one.
You have baggage, AJ. You have a lot of baggage.
Which condo?
I do. Yeah. Which penthouse? Which penthouse are you staying in?
Exactly. Well, KB, thanks for waking up for us, and this was great. It was awesome to have you on, and of course, everyone can catch you for the rest of the series, however long it goes, with Poppy and A-Rod and Jeter on pre and post. So thanks for stopping by, dude. Great to see you.
Great to see you guys. You guys rock. Enjoy the show always. I'll see ya.
Thank you. That's Kevin Burkhardt, part of the Fox coverage of the World Series. It's FT presented by Fox One. A little shout out again. Thanks to Fox for sponsoring us. But I'm not just saying that for supporting the show, but also we're lining up a lot of cool guests this week that are part of the Fox fam. We'll work on, I think, Joe Davis might be joining us soon.
I love KB, by the way. He's
awesome. Really good.
He's one of my favorite people just to talk to and sit down. And we've spent many an hour together in the avocado room at Fox Slot and just talking. And he's so fun. He gets it. He has a great time, and he does an awesome job on that desk. I have to give him credit. So yeah, I mean, thank you, Kevin, for coming on and being awesome always.
He's doing the biggest, baseball coverage on studio, and then he's doing the biggest NFL coverage on play-by-play. As somebody who has done both for many years, it is hard to find someone who is like A++ at both, because they're actually very different positions, where you're really good at the mechanics of calling a game and doing everything that entails, plus with other sports, and then being like a great personality and point guard, right? There's some guys you can't get in the way too much because you got to let the rest of the desk take over. So I think all of that's really cool. And yes, Joe Davis from the Fox broadcast joining us tomorrow. Ken Rosenthal is joining us tomorrow. So we got a big Fox day tomorrow. We'll see if Ken's
Think about KB's weekend, though. He called the football game after doing Friday and Saturday in Toronto. Flew, I don't know, I forget where his football game was. Was it Philly? Did he have Giants Philly, I think? And then he flew to LA to do game 3. No, he didn't have Giants Philly?
I don't know.
Oh, I think he
Philly,
did.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, think about that weekend. And then if this goes to 6 or 7, he's going to have to do it again. So, I mean, KB's the man.
This episode of FT is brought to you by Huel. Cheers.
Cheers.
We got a new Huel edition here, the Daily Greens. I've got blueberry, lemon, and thyme. You've got?
I got myself peach and hibiscus. I love peach. This is delicious. Fuel for the go, man. And this is really good for your body. It's really good for your systems. Anything that has greens in it, especially from Huel, is pretty fantastic. This will get you going, a little energy, a little boost, and keep your insides feeling well too.
Yeah, developed by registered nutritionists and dietitians. Few vitamins, minerals, and superfoods. Only 25 calories, 4 grams of fiber, only 1 gram of sugar. That's the goods. Of course, we still love the Huel Black Edition. I got chocolate peanut butter. How you doing?
Strawberry banana is delicious.
Let's go. Huel makes healthy eating simple. They also just launched into Target stores nationwide. Try both products today with 15% off your purchase for new customers with the exclusive code FOUL at Huel.com/foul. Use that code and fill out the post-checkout survey to help support the show. In the weeds. So there's a poll in The Athletic put together by Stephen Nesbitt. He's good at this stuff. and it's World Series related. So I'll start at the top here. Which team are you rooting for if you're not a fan of Toronto or LA? It was 80% Toronto, 20% LA. To me, that makes sense. That tracks. I'm not surprised by that number. Are you, AJ?
No, not one bit. Are you kidding me? No. Most people they don't like the Dodgers because they think the Dodgers are ruining baseball because they actually spend money and try to win. So people are like, "Oh, I hate the Dodgers," and everyone likes to root against somebody. They usually like to root against the big bad evil team like the Yankees for years or the Red Sox or whoever that is. Right now, that team is the Dodgers. So they think the Blue Jays are like the little engine that could. But look at the Blue Jays payroll; it's in the top, I think 5, right?
5.
So they're not exactly the little engine. They're actually a big engine that's finally putting it together. So there's really, I mean, I get it, but man, 80-20, I thought it'd be a little bit closer, but I understand because of that exact reason that the narrative has been, oh, the Dodgers are ruining baseball. They're the worst team for baseball. But in reality, they're great for baseball because people.
I think any team in the top 15 would be ruining baseball if they had a run of dominance. Do you agree with that? Like any team, right? Like if this was the Blue Jays, nothing would be different. If the Blue Jays won last year and they had some other recent World Series appearances, then everyone would hate them and they'd be like, they're not fair. They spend more. They're always winning, right?
Yes. The team that wins, everybody hates. And more people, I'll tell you this right now, more people tune in to watch the great team hopefully lose than actually tune in to watch hopefully that great team or some team win. People want to see that big team lose. Like whatever team it is in football, the Chiefs, right? How many people root against the Chiefs because they're in the Super Bowl every year? How many people forever don't root against the Cowboys in football, right? In hockey, it's any team in Florida because we win the Stanley Cup in Florida every year, right? In basketball, how many people root against LeBron James because he's always in the finals but people tune in, and right now that person is the Dodgers because they're there every year.
Right. And they're there every year, much less so than the other sports when they've got their runs from, MJ, LeBron, Curry, Brady.
What's weird though is nobody really hated MJ. For some reason, MJ was like the one guy. I don't know why, but if you look back, like, did anybody ever really root against MJ?
Yeah, there was a base that did. I mean,
but not like
Knicks fans,
not like some of the other guys for some reason. It's almost like he got a pass on that for some reason.
I think Knicks fans, Pistons fans, like think of some of the teams in the East that Pacers fans, Heat fans, right? Any teams that also had some good runs. No, I agree. I didn't feel like
vicious.
I saw that.
It wasn't. Maybe it's because before social media, right?
Yes.
I don't know, Kratz. You would. I don't know. Do you agree with me? Like, I feel like Jordan never got like that. Maybe it was because of social media.
For being as big of a winner as he was. Six world championships? No, he never got that hate. Although, did Shaq ever get that hate? Was Shaq ever a guy? Maybe it was just a different era. Now it's just all about the hate. I can't stand that. When you go to a Super Bowl party and like your team, like all you Jets fans, you're out of it by week 8, and then you go to a Super Bowl party of like the Eagles versus the Patriots, and you're just cheering against whichever team does well, and you're like, that's dumb. Like, just enjoy the games.
Jets catching strays, also week 8. Try like week 2, bro. But anyway,
you guys are definitely getting some knife emojis from producer lady.
That was because producer lady didn't stay up for the post game.
Ooh, good point.
Ooh, all right. Let me get through more poll answers. What statement best describes your feeling about the Dodgers? 34% say I would rather see them lose. 32% say I actively root against them, right? Like there's more to it. 24% respect them. 7% feel mostly neutral about them. And I'm rounding up or down on numbers based on 5 or more or 4 or less. And 4% actively root for them. Again, these are non-Dodger fans that we're asking. So just to give you a pulse of the care level of how much hate there is. For example, here's how I'm trying to put things in perspective. AJ, I think if we went back to the Yankees dynasty of the 90s and then dipping into the early 2000s, that number would be much higher towards passionate fans rooting against them.
Yeah, but that's
No?
because it's because of the Yankees. Now, I will say this, and there was a lot of people. Jeter got a lot of hate, and Clemens and some of those guys on that team got a lot of hate for Alex, obviously, still, But like, I think the difference is that if you watch the Dodgers, who do you hate on the Dodgers? Shohei because he's really good, Freddie Freeman because he's really good, Mookie Betts because he's really good and just won the Clemente Award, Clayton Kershaw. I mean, who do you hate? Yamamoto? Like, you look at this team and you're like, gosh, it's not easy to hate this team. It's easy to root against them if you're not a fan because you don't want to see them win. But who do you really hate? Who can you look at on the Dodgers and say, man, Max Muncy? Will Smith? Who do you look at and say, man, I hate this team. It's just a bunch of a-holes.
They all do it right.
It's like, who do I hate? Yeah, I don't want them to win because I'm not a fan, but gosh, it's hard. It's really hard to go to the Dodgers and say they're all smiling. It's like I'll throw the Blue Jays in this mix too. Vlad Guerrero, every time you see him, he's smiling, he's laughing, he's having a good time, right? Kirk looks like, the guy you would see playing slow pitch softball. He hits dingers and catches at a Gold Glove quality. Like, how can you hate Alejandro Kirk at all? Like, he looks like just a guy off the street playing slow pitch softball, except he's dominating the World Series. I don't know how you can look at either of these teams and say, man, I don't like them, because the guys are both awesome. Now, there's other teams you say, I don't like the way this guy does this or this guy does that, but these two teams don't have that.
That's why it's a great series for baseball. And you haven't even unloaded the fact that it's being watched in, like Scott said, it's being watched in Canada. It's the best numbers in the U.S. in years. It's being watched in every household in Japan. Like, it's a great series, and I don't think that chart that we just had up there, the 24% respect them. I bet you'd have a hard time finding another team that gets as high of marks. But there's nobody with any baggage. Like, the people that have been with the Dodgers, they've pushed them out the door if they had baggage, whether they were good or they weren't good. And so they're left with the guys that they have, and they make you feel like, man, I don't want to see them win, but I like every one of these guys. Like, they're all good, and I think fans should be the respect factor, but also, like, know when you see greatness. Know when you don't get to see a lineup that's built like this, and treasure it, watch it, savor it, whatever you want to do, because this team's going to be around for a little while, but you're watching seriously, a dynasty. And normally we see dynasties and we figure it out at the end of the dynasty. And we're smack dab in the middle of it right now.
Fans polled here said Ohtani makes the Dodgers blank likable. So the options were more, less, or no opinion. 62% said more likable. 20% less, 18% no opinion.
How can you hate Shohei? How can you hate Shohei? Because he's really good? The only reason you would hate on Shohei is because you're jealous of how good he is. What's the other reason you don't like Shohei Ohtani? Somebody please tell me. What is it?
I got one. He trolled Lourdes Gurriel. That one time when was it Lourdes or was it Yuli? Who plays for Diamondbacks? I'm forgetting.
Lourdes. Yeah.
And that made me love him even more. Like, whatever Lourdes did, he did the home run, and then he was like that after the home run. Shohei hit the home run to put them ahead, and he clowned on him. So, like, that's like, oh my gosh, this guy's also like a real person too. He's not just a machine.
See, I love that. I love that.
If you're a Blue Jays fan, you dislike him because you think that you had a chance and you're pissed that you didn't end up getting him. If you're an Angels fan, do you think that they're pissed at all that they lost him? Or is that just more everything against their ownership group?
They were never going to re-sign him because they weren't going to win. He wanted to go to a team where he was going to win. And they had Trout and they had Ohtani, and they never even made the play. Not only did they not make the playoffs, they never even sniffed the playoffs. Like, their season was over. Like, as much as you guys just clowned on the Jets, the Angels' seasons were over in May, honestly. So, yeah, he wanted to go to a team where he won. Guess what he did his first year? He won. Guess what he has a chance to do his second year? Win. Guess what he has a chance to do next year on the Dodgers? Win. He signed a 10-year contract. Get used to it, because even when Betts and Freeman and Muncy and some of these older guys, Kershaw, are gone, guess what the Dodgers are going to do? They're going to try and win.
Because they have more
with
money left
Ohtani
over.
and Yamamoto, who signed forever too.
And Suzuki. And don't forget, Blake Snell signed a deal. Glasnow's there for a few more years. Like, it's not like they're going anywhere anytime soon. This team, Will Smith signed for a long time. This team is going to be around, and when they need something, they either trade for it or they go and sign the guy. And that's what you want. That's what every team should be looking to do.
Yeah. Plus, they have a rule to limit younger players overseas from signing in the major leagues. That rule led to Roki Sasaki signing for Pebbles with the Dodgers. You're going to have to change a lot of rules. Just saying, okay? We get plenty of people that watch this show that say we love the Dodgers and plenty that say we hate the Dodgers. I do not give a crap. We're just covering baseball, but I'm giving you the facts. I do a prospect show every week, and they're often leading the charge with guys that are on their way, and they have disadvantages for the draft right now, and they're still beating everyone in the race to pick good players amateur-wise and then develop them. So we've got a long way to go. Anyway, let's talk to Jack Harris about this Dodgers team. We talked to Shi on the Blue Jays angle. Let's get Jack's thoughts on the series moving forward. The old card experience was a slow burn, long grind, right? Find the box, find the pack you want, open the pack. Most of the cards, nah, right? You got one that's worth something. Now send it in for grading. Yeah. I mean, the list goes on and on. You want to sell it? Now you got to put it up. Then you got to ship it out. Yeah. There's one solution for that, and it's called
Arena Club, and it's just on a click of a dime. You get on your computer, you type in, get the Arena Club app, go on there, type in, put some money in, and type in exactly what kind of cards you want, and voila, it's a great experience. And I think that's what people miss nowadays, the experience, the excitement of getting a new card. You never know what you're going to get, an autograph card, anything you could think of. Really cool stuff.
You can get 20% off your first slab pack or card purchase at arenaclub.com/foul. See what gets Todd Father so excited. When he gets that digital slab pack, it's like butter, baby.
Butter.
Hey, we're back. We didn't get to this yesterday because, I mean, it was out kind of, but we didn't get the comments afterward. Did you guys see how Dave Roberts joked about the team going through delays? And it wasn't the team. The players, they have 4 planes, okay? The players left the night before, the night after the game. And then the coaches and a lot of other staff left in the morning on a plane. And they had a ton of delays and all of that. And Doc also said, I mean, they're traveling 400 people. So it's going to take more time. But he was like, oh, you know, maybe there was some intent on why it took so long. And then people freaked out. And then he had to clarify, like, I am sure the Prime Minister is not taking time to figure out how to delay us. And it actually sounds even funnier when you think about it. What, like, ooh, let's delay the coaches. It's not even the players. The players traveled smoothly over. But just the fact that he even had to clarify that, I'm like, let's not be so sensitive. Let's relax.
Well, yeah. Listen, I love this that the Dodgers do this. I love that they fly separate. They let the players be the players. The coaches have a different plane, and then the families have different. We did this in 2005. The players flew, the coaches. Now, we only had one plane for players and coaches, but the traveling party was way smaller. And then our families flew separate on a different plane. And on the way home, they literally flew back to back like this. One of us landed, and then the next one landed. So I love this.
Jack Harris is here. He's awake, looking like he's fresh. Had a nice shower after staying late at the ballpark. Jack, good to see you, and we really appreciate you hopping on. I mean, we're all over this crazy World Series. We'll go backwards as we go, but I do want to try and spin it forward first. Expectations on pitcher usage heading into Game 4, and included in that, your thoughts on how Shohei Ohtani could look after a long night. I know he's superhuman, but what have you seen?
Yeah, with Ohtani, it's going to be interesting. You saw him cramping last night at one point. Obviously, he's on the bases 9 times. He did a lot of running on the bases. He tried to steal a base. He was joking last night, like, I just want to get as much sleep as possible. So we'll see. It seems like every time this guy gets challenged with something, especially physically, he goes beyond whatever the expectation is. But the Dodgers are going to need some length out of him because when you look at the bullpen, they're not totally wrecked after last night. You had guys like Anthony Banda and Jack Dreyer and, that didn't have to pitch quite as much. Blake Trinan in that group. I think Roki Sasaki will be kind of the big question. He goes 1 2/3 last night. Is he going to be available? But I think, the Dodgers are going to have a lot of guys at their disposal. I'm sure the only guy who will be a for sure down is Will Klein. It probably needs a couple days after last night.
How great was Will Klein's performance last night? If they have to go on and win the series, obviously. It's like Nathan Eovaldi in 2018 with the Red Sox, right? When he threw all those innings and then the Red Sox, they lost the game and went on to win the series. And everyone said that was the moment. But if the Dodgers go on and win the series, where will Will Klein be remembered in the lore of Dodger World Series games? Kirk Gibson? Yes.
He's going to be up there. And to me, like, especially the way that game was playing out those last couple innings, Dave Roberts goes on the broadcast and says he's going to put a position player in the game. I mean, you think about how different this series would look if Will Klein, of all people, this guy who, has been with 3 organizations this year, who was one of, in a Dodger season, they have dozens of guys that will come through, especially on the pitching staff, to fill innings here or there. And you just never expect one of them to have a moment like this. Even he was joking. You could never anticipate something like this happening, even though he was at Stay Hot camp and trying to keep himself prepared and whatnot. And for him to go, that 4th inning and to prevent a position player from having to come into the game, it just changes the whole complexion of this series. I mean, think about how different things would feel on the Dodgers side if not only they lose, but they lose because they literally ran out of pitching and had to put Miguel Rojas or something like that on the mound. So I think in terms of guys going from people that I'm sure 80% of the fans in that ballpark didn't know to becoming, the guy that everyone's mobbing around after a walk-off, it's one of the more just kind of remarkable immediate star turns you could imagine from somebody that, again, just was never supposed to be this big of a part of the plan. But, like he said last night, no one was going to care if his legs were tired or if his arm was tired. He was still throwing 97 right through the end. So just one of the more heroic things you're going to see in October.
You were there when he talked after the game, right?
Yeah, no, and it was funny. I mean, he was laughing at every question. I think just the surrealness of it as he was trying to comprehend and digest what he had just gone through was really interesting. And again, this is a guy who, I was trying to remember if we even had an official media scrum with him at any point this year. I'm pretty sure we didn't, just because, again, when he pitched, even in the regular season, when he was pitching, it was low leverage, it was eating innings, it was, hey, come up because we have a couple guys in the bullpen that are going to need a few days and we need a little extra depth. He got sent down a couple days before, I think on the second to last day of the regular season or something like that, after actually being part of the division clinch clubhouse celebration. And then again was in Arizona for the last couple weeks. And the surrealness of that to him, kind of watching him and listening to him try to go through this moment that he was you could never expect was one of the cooler kind of post-game interactions you're going to see in this kind of setting.
Being a second thought player in a clubhouse, because you just answered it without me even saying anything. You didn't talk to him before this. You didn't. I mean, yeah, you probably knew who Will Klein was. Oh, it's cool. He's on the roster. I get it because Vesia's not there. Does it make you look around the clubhouse now and go, wait a minute, I get it. Freddie won the game. Shohei did historic things. But does it make you look around the clubhouse for both teams and go, what am I missing? Who? I know I can't track all 26 guys, but it takes 26 guys to win these games. But you write your big articles about the superstars normally, right?
Yeah, no, and that's I think and especially with the Dodgers and the pitching, because the last couple years they've had to use so many different pitchers, and the part like I was thinking about last night is when you're in that space, like it's got to be difficult or just different for the guys that are coming through on that team over the course of the season, shuffling back and forth from the minors. You I'm sure there's part of you that feels like, you're on the team, but you're kind of serving this other kind of role. And to have a guy like that, who, again, nobody would have been thinking about before last night, not only go and pitch well in that spot last night, but to provide such a gutsy effort to throw 72 pitches, to keep telling Dave Roberts, no, I'm good, don't come get me. That's a cool thing. And I think it reflects on, again, one of the things the Dodgers do well is even with these guys that are way down the depth chart, they do spend time with them. They do help them improve. One thing Will Klein struggled with this year, because he's always had a good fastball. That was the word when they traded for him from the Mariners, but just the command would be really wild. And for him to go through 4 innings last night, and I think only have the 2 walks at the very end, was really impressive. I think it speaks a lot to just his commitment and ability to be ready for that moment. And then also, the culture that the Dodgers have, where even a guy who was probably number 15 or 20 on the pitching depth chart this year kind of felt that responsibility and that willingness to go and do something like that last night.
Hey, Jack, I have 2 questions for you. One, why was Yamamoto the choice and not Blake Snell to be possibly the next pitcher for the Dodgers? Was it just a case that Yamamoto volunteered to do it and Blake Snell didn't? Had he already thrown his bullpen? Why was it Yamamoto and not Snell?
Yeah, I think Snell had thrown his bullpen before the game, and then he's also going to be pitching, obviously tomorrow now. So, like Dave Roberts said on the broadcast, he didn't want to use any of his starters. And I think the calculation the Dodgers were making once that game got into the 16th or 17th inning was, even if we lose, we can come back and win this series as long as our starting pitchers can get us there. And one thing the Dodgers have been very wary of doing this postseason, even with the bullpen struggles, is using starters out of the pen on their throw day and things like that. So I think they were perfectly content to just, not content, but at that point of the game, they were playing the risk-reward game of, it's not worth burning our starter, one of our starting pitchers here in a way that could hurt us for the rest of the series, even if we win tonight. But then, Yamamoto, he talked about this after the game with the Japanese press is, when he first started playing pro ball in Japan, like he would get 10 days off after his starts. And he was thinking about how, he's transformed his body and his training and gotten to a place where he can throw a complete game on one day, take a flight across the country to get in at 5 a.m. the next day, and then feel physically ready to go down to the bullpen and get ready to pitch. And that's basically what he got to, is that as that game was going on, he felt physically ready. He hadn't thrown his bullpen yet. He wasn't going to do that for a couple more days. His next start isn't until game 6, so he was going to have more time to recuperate anyway if he did come in and pitch. And he felt ready to go, even after a season in which he started 30 times and coming off back-to-back complete games. So, and I mean, even the fact of him even volunteering to pitch changed the whole complexion. Because I think once Dave Roberts knew, okay, I do have somebody behind Will Klein, he felt okay pushing him for one more inning as opposed to going to a position player in the 18th like he was initially planning to do.
That javelin works wonders, but the javelin, just everyone needs to start throwing the javelin thing. Like, I don't know, whatever you call that thing. But was that Clayton Kershaw's swan song? Is that the last time you think, unless something crazy happens, that we'll see Clayton Kershaw on the mound in a Dodgers uniform for his career, or will there be another opportunity for him?
I think it'll definitely be the last time you see him in a moment where the game is on the line like that. And that, I mean, to me, that was the most memorable part of that game, was his entrance, because there was just this nervous tension that kind of came over the whole stadium. Because obviously people, are excited to see Clayton Kershaw pitch, but they also know this might be his last time pitching. And, oh no, what if he blows this game and adds one more just like terrible October disappointment to end his career. Like that was the mood from the crowd. There wasn't a ton of cheering. People were kind of almost sitting there silently watching him warm up. Even the Dodgers infielders were just standing like right behind the mound watching him pitch like it was a gladiator going into the ring or something. And then he comes out and he's pumping 90 with his slider and 92 with his fastball, gets in a full count and has to make a big pitch. And, you know, this, though, is why this is the reason why they have him on the roster, even though he's not starting games, even though his stuff isn't great, is because they knew there might be a moment where they needed somebody who was not going to get rattled by a big situation, who was going to be able to come in and execute a couple pitches. And that's exactly what he did. And the elation that was in the ballpark after that nervousness, once he got that final out, from the crowd to the dugout where Dave Roberts gave him a huge high five as he was coming back down the stairs. You know, the broadcast like cut to his wife in the stands and just the emotions that she was feeling in that moment. It was a really interesting scene. And if it is his final time pitching in the big leagues, it was a cool way, I think, for him to go out getting this little taste of October success too.
All right, take us to tonight. Shohei, there's no way of tracking this. Oh, we can see, you know, his exhaustion meter is way down. How much did last night, being on base 9 times, is it going to go into Dave Roberts' decision-making based on how he's pitching tonight? You assume perfection from him, but is Dave Roberts going to sit there and go, okay, this is the 5th. Now, you know, he's been on base twice tonight, 9 times last night. How much is it going to go in? Or is it only going to be the eye test for Dave tonight?
Yeah, I mean, the way that they've handled Ohtani all year, it's both the eye test and just communicating with him. And I think that the one thing they've done is trust what he's telling them about how he's feeling at various stages of his rehab and recovery and ramping back up to being a full-time two-way player. And I expect that's probably how it's going to go tonight. I'm sure that, you know, they're going to be extra cautious about if it looks like his stuff is falling off or it looks like he's fatiguing on the mound, because the one thing they don't want to do is push him to a point where you start risking injury or something like that. But my guess is that after every inning, Dave Roberts is going to ask Ohtani, how are you feeling? And as long as he's feeling okay, which, you know, given what this guy does, the way he takes care of his body, the way he prepares, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if he's able to go out there and throw 80, 90, 100 pitches without making it look like he had just played 18 innings the night before. So we'll see. I think, you know, even for Ohtani, he's probably not going to know until he gets into the game, starts getting deeper into the game, seeing how his body's feeling, seeing how his stuff is holding up. I think the one good part for him is that, you know, over these last couple weeks, he's really found his feel for his full arsenal of pitches in a way where he's probably not just having to rear back and throw as hard as he can every time. So it'll be interesting to see how he approaches his start, how the Dodgers handle him. But I think ultimately, you know, how long he goes is going to come down to how he's feeling and what the communication is like between him and Dave Roberts during the game.
They handled him delicately, working him back into the mix throughout the season for this moment so that he feels good right now. And clearly he looks and feels good right now. Jack, great stuff. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy the next couple days out there at the ballpark.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
That's Jack Harris, LA Times. Check out his work in the LA Times and at by Jack Harris for more of his coverage on Twitter. Monday locks. Well, it looked a little dicey for me early, and then runs came in. You know, the game was over for me a while ago, Kratz. We got to 5-5, and then that was it. Game was over.
No, the game was over for you when it was 4-4. I haven't seen a World Series game that ends in a tie yet. So as soon as it's 4-4, and you know I'm tailing all my buddies.
I like it. What did you get to? Did you get hooked, AJ? Did Glasnow finish with 5?
He did, and he could have punched out the next guy, but they took him out. Remember, they took him out. I was like, oh, come on. Like, I forget who was Varsho, maybe. He would have punched his ticket, though, probably. But he didn't get the chance, and I lost 4 2/3. But I'll give the Blue Jays credit. They did a great job of fouling off pitches, and they didn't strike out. They put ball in early counts. And it was interesting because Glasnow usually throws that high heater. He was throwing a ton of breaking balls, man, like breaking ball, breaking ball, breaking ball. And Kirk finally clipped one.
I didn't agree with that at all. That was one of the instances, and like we talked about before, walking Andres Jimenez to get to Davis Schneider. I didn't agree with that, but the game plan the last 2 nights with their righties has been spin them to death. But I just think, I get it, they can hit heaters well. I just think Glasnow's heater's different. I think it's, as the kids say, he's built different. He literally is built different. That's a monster.
Yeah, he almost completely ditched the four-seamer the second time through the order, too. It
Sinkers.
was curious. When we get to Tyler at some point, right, whether it's during the series or afterward, because we have him on pretty regularly, we can ask him about the game plan and all of that. All right, let's get back on the board here. AJ, what are you thinking tonight?
I'm just going Dodgers run line. That's it. Dodgers run line. But they're going to win by more than 1 run. And why do I think that? I don't have any idea, because every time I think I got an easy lock in this series, something goes haywire. So yeah, which means probably the Blue Jays will win by 3. So, but I just like the matchup. I think Shohei will outpitch Bieber, who we love Bieber, but I just think they're going to swing the bats a little bit better tonight and score some runs.
And that's running out -105. We'll get Kratz's later, but I'm just going basically opposite. I've got money line because it's +180. I just think that's steep. I think Bieber can keep him in the game. I think the Blue Jays have a good offense. Their guys, half of them didn't play half the game. So we'll see. Me versus AJ tonight. All right, Jared Sandler is here covering the Rangers, of course, but we're talking World Series ball. Jared, great to see you. And I'll set this up. So this, I think, is what our show is all about, texting with a friend about some ideas about the game. And then it's like, hey, you want to hop on for 10 minutes and go over it? So how you doing? And then within that, just lay out what we were texting about to everyone, and we'll kick around the ideas for fun.
Yeah, what's up, fellas? Great seeing you guys. So I just had some buddies email thread talking about the game last night, and one of the guys like, hey, we got to get rid of the intentional walk in baseball. And I want to make something clear. It's given me something to think about, and it's not just last night. I've had conversations about the intentional walk before. I don't know where I stand. I'm going to admit that I'm kind of riding the fence on the pros and cons, but he offered up 3 alternatives, one of which I really like. The one I like is that a team can only intentionally walk a batter once per game. After that, you've got to execute 4 pitches in the dirt or 4 pitches where you're working around the hitter. But you can only, hey, throw up the 4 fingers. That guy goes to first once per game. The other options, one was an intentional walk advances every batter or every base runner 1 base. So if you have a runner at second and nobody out, or a runner at second, nobody else on, you intentionally walk the hitter. It becomes first and third as opposed to first and second. Obviously, if you're intentionally walking someone with a runner at third, then that guy scores. I don't know if I love that one. Another one was all 4 pitch walks or intentional walks are 2 bases. I don't know that I love that either, because what if there's a guy that just he's lost control for a second? I don't know that I certainly think that's the way to go. And maybe the answer is that there doesn't need to be a change. I'm not sitting here saying that, we need to overreact because of 1 game, but the impetus behind all this is, and a part of what makes every sport unique is what makes, people love those sports. But, in the NBA, close game, 4th quarter, you want to get Steph Curry the ball, you get Steph Curry the ball. Team might double team him. They might try and force the ball out of his hands, but you still, he's in a position to try and do something, and you can counter that. In the NFL, if the Chiefs have the ball with 1:35 left, the Bills can't say, hey, we're going to press this button. Patrick Mahomes has to be on the sideline. In the NHL, you want your best line out on the ice in the biggest moment. You can do that. In our sport, a part of the beauty is that you rely on 1 through 9. Like, I love that. I don't think that's a bug. I think that's a feature. But I do wonder, does it make sense to at least force the athletes on the mound to get the athlete in the box out in these big moments, and last night being Shohei Ohtani, as opposed to just taking the bat out of his hands completely. Strategically, it makes all the sense in the world. I don't know. I'm curious your thoughts. I don't know where I stand on this. I don't know that there needs to be a change, but it was something that we had discussed over email after the game last night. I thought it was an interesting discussion.
They used to do this, Jared. You used to stand up. A right-handed batter used to stand up, and you'd put your hand out, and they'd throw it out there, and everybody would boo, and it was a waste of time. Or we could go to your email thread where all your buddies are like, yeah, they should just get rid of the intentional walk. Okay, and then we'll all write letters into the league and say how we want to watch the game and what we want to see happen. You can do all those things. You can double team somebody in the NBA and you can make sure they don't get the ball. You can go absolute blitz coverage on Patrick Mahomes, and you can make it just a living hell for him and not cover anybody else if you think but it's a team sport. Like getting rid of the intentional walk. You know how you stop teams from intentionally walking guys 5 times? Mookie Betts gets a hit and ends the game. Oh, wait, I guess we can't do that. Like, it's a team game, and if we always are like, oh, man, I really love to see Shohei Ohtani hit. Man, that would be great. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Tell Mookie Betts to do better. Or tell your pit, like, I don't want to see them, stand up here. Okay, over here. The one moment is when some dude has the yips and he yard darts one or he lobs one and Miguel Cabrera hits a base hit. So when I read this, I was kind of like, no, we were already there. We don't need to go back.
If I would have bet on the 3 of you guys who was going to have the strongest opinion against this, I would have put all my chips in that it would be Kratzy. I don't know. AJ's a wild card, but I figured I was going to get that sort of response from Erik. I just want to make it clear again. I don't know how I feel about this. I think it's interesting. I also think about things like the long-term health of the game, and I'm not saying the intentional walk is shaping this one way or the other, but like there's the baseball side of it, but then also like just the entertainment fan side of it. And I try and balance those two. And that's why I think this maybe has merit, not so much for the baseball side of it, because this is strategy. It's strategy just like anything else, just like Hack-a-Shack was strategy in the NBA. But then I think about like the people who are watching this game trying to decide, how much do I want to invest in being a fan in this sport? And, they go and they hear about this Shohei Ohtani guy, and they certainly got to show the first, 9 innings of the game when he had the 4 extra base hits and the game tying home run in the 7th and whatnot. But I'm not necessarily saying I want to get rid of the intentional walk, but I do. It's interesting just hearing the other possibilities that could be out there. And like I said, the one that if you told me you have to make a change, we're getting rid of the intentional walk. The one that I would say I would vote for is you can choose, or I say get rid of the intentional walk. Get rid of the intentional walk as it is currently allowed, which is you can do it as much as you want. I would say you can do it once a game if you told me you had to make a change to the current structure.
Sorry, Jared, because that's how much I think your idea sucks. But sorry,
I appreciate it, AJ.
Listen, they already did it. I've seen pitchers throw intentional walk pitches away. So what they did was the right thing. It speeds up the game, and I'm all for speeding up the game with the pitch clock and all that. But here's the key, and I think Kratz nailed it. Mookie Betts gets some hits. You want to know how they stop doing this? If Mookie Betts comes up and gets hits, I hit behind Barry Bonds a year. He walked 70 times that year, and like 189 of them were intentional because I wasn't a guy that could hit 70 homers like Barry Bonds could. So they were like, oh, this guy hit into a double play and whatever. Like, fine. And I had a decent year, but I'm not Mookie Betts, and they still are doing this to get to an MVP and Mookie Betts and a Hall of Famer. Okay? So Mookie Betts has to get his hits. But this is the strategy. When you have to walk guys and you have to pick and choose your battles. Baseball is a team game made up of individual performances, okay? And that's the key. You need 1 through 9. You needed some guy. Every night it's got to be someone else that steps up. When the Texas Rangers won the World Series, it wasn't always Corey Seager. Adolis Garcia had big hits. Jonah Heim had big hits. All these different guys had big hits at different times, right? So I think this is a dumb idea. I appreciate that you guys put a lot of thought to it. You and your friends put a lot of thought into it. But you know what? You guys wasted your time, and you're a Spurs fan, so it hurts me to say that. But, man, y'all put way too much time into something that's not going to happen.
Just to be clear, not a San Antonio Spurs fan, a Tottenham.
Yes,
because I hate the Spurs. I'm a Mavs fan. No, listen. I don't know if they're listening. I'll definitely be sure to send them the link, and I'll put that in the email thread. I just thought it was an interesting discussion, but hey, I never claimed to be smart. I know my place in this game.
Jared, I hope you're not offended by us saying it's a bad idea.
Not at all.
We're not saying
not at
that
all.
you're dumb. We're saying your idea was dumb. Okay. Now
Yeah.
your friends, they might be
No,
dumb.
I'm not offended.
Because they didn't come on the show.
Wait, bring me on. Bring me on here. I want to jump in. Okay. Because I love these guys.
Scott's got here's my defense attorney.
Scott's going to come on and say, role play, I'm Rob Manfred, and I think this is a great idea because, yeah, whatever. Go ahead, Rob.
We already changed the rule 13 years ago. Now we're going to change it back because we just want to make everybody get a participation award. Go ahead, Scott.
Jared and I have covered the game for a long time, and we work with players and talk to players, right? And players are not always right about what fans want to see. Many players I spoke to were against any rule change of any kind. Timeouts, pitch clock, shifts, you name it. And there have been a lot of changes that have brought a lot of positivity to the sport. So I just think it's worth having discussions. People lost their minds on golden
Scott's on the email thread, isn't he?
I'm not
Here,
on board
Scott's
with
on the email thread. Scott is on the email thread. 100% he's on that email thread.
Scott was the one that sent the email.
No, exactly.
No, I'm just kidding. No, Eric, of course I'm not offended.
So many players didn't want the pitch clock, and they were flat out wrong.
I love the pitch clock as an announcer. And so does Jared. I know he does. But here's the thing. How many of you? Hi, Mom. Who's that? Hi, honey.
It's my wife and I are living with my wife's Nana right now. So that was Nana who just walked by.
Hey,
Nana. What's up? Here's my question.
Nana, do you like the intentional walk? She said, "What's the intentional walk?" She's on my side.
AJ, 60 seconds.
No, real quick though. Would you rather see him Shohei go to first, or have that at bat where the guy throws 4 balls in the dirt and we waste 3 minutes of our lives instead of just saying go to first? Like that was so much better when they just were like go to first, Mookie, try to get a hit.
Well, I'd say this. There's no skill in doing this. I think there is a skill in pitching around guys because you guys have seen this behind the plate. You've had a pitcher on the mound, and the directive is, let's see if this guy can chase. If not, we're going to pitch around him, and then you leave a pitch that is over the corner, and that guy, that athlete in the box is so good, he's able to drive that in the gap or over the wall. So I do think there is a skill in being able to pitch around guys. There's no skill in turning and doing this. So the reason I find this to have some merit, I know we're on a clock here, is that I'm all for rules that at least put athletes in a position to be athletes or challenge their athleticism. And I always ask myself that question. So that's why I think I've given it some consideration. I have asked some players around the league, pitchers, as you can imagine, they don't like it. I've talked to some hitters, though. They're like, yeah, I think this is interesting. There's obviously biases involved with their roles in the game, though.
Stay for 2 minutes. We're hitting a break for the TV crowd. We have 2 minutes left to keep this going. Okay, so here's the radical thought. And I'm not saying this is what we should do, but Jared, what about if you're limiting the amount of times you can walk someone in a game, period, right? So if you're limiting, I'm saying if
you can't make a guy swing. You can't make a guy swing, Scott. What are you going to, oh no, he gets extra balls until we throw him a strike. Like, what are you talking about?
No,
what do you mean?
The other way.
I'm saying
the other way.
Yeah, but if you
walking guys.
Right, punish for walking guys. If you want to throw strikes. If you can't throw strikes to a guy, because the problem is, yeah, if you go back to saying, oh, you actually have to throw it, you can just fake throw it, right? Guys know where. I mean, guys can throw outside the zone or throw it in the dirt. But what if you're like, hey,
no, they can't. No, they can't. Some guys can't do it.
I know, but many can.
I saw Vlad Guerrero hit a home run. I didn't see it, but Vlad Guerrero hit a home run on intentional walk in Double-A off Troy Carrasco, a lefty. He couldn't get him out. He tried to intentionally walk him. Vlad Guerrero went right center, boom, at Harrisburg on an intentional walk. So some guys can't even do that. So don't say, oh, well, guys, how hard is it for a guy to hit a guy when you tell him to hit a guy? It ain't that easy for these guys because They're programmed to throw strikes. They're not programmed to miss the strike zone.
Right, but my point is, if you're just going to intentionally walk a guy, you could stand out like we used to and just catch a ball, and unless you have the yips.
I've seen guys throw that one away too.
I know, but it doesn't happen
You should just go
enough.
like this and put them on if that's the strategy.
But the point is, other sports get to see their stars thrive, and our sport actually does the opposite. And I get it. That's fine. I'm just throwing it out there. Other sports do thrive by letting their superstar step up. For half the night last night, Ohtani just goes to first. And he's still a factor because he can run. And, he was caught stealing the one time. But it's not the same as getting to see more Shohei at bats. That's all. We're just trying to brainstorm. Is there a way to still get Shohei at bats? Or superstar at bats? And your answer from both of you guys
golden at bat. Golden at bat. Golden at bat. Golden at bat.
Do you actually like I don't like that rule. Do you there's no way you actually like that rule, right?
No, but if you want Shohei, a little bit, because it would have been kind of cool to have Shohei come up a couple times.
I don't buy that you like that.
Or have bases loaded and Vlad. Here comes Vlad. Oh wait, we're gonna move Vlad into this spot. I don't know. It's been kind of a lot of.
We gotta go. We got 10 seconds.
Well, never mind. There's the Shohei rule. It's basically tonight he's able to pitch in DH. It's a rule made for him. I'm curious your thoughts on that. We can discuss it at a later time.
Yep, there you go. All right, Jared, good stuff, dude. Thanks for popping on and
see you, fellas.
Waking our guys up. We needed some coffee. See you soon, dude.
Hey, guys.
Boys.
All right, let's slap. We were continuing the combo with Jared Sandler, did a nice job, and he brought up the Shohei Ohtani rule. Do you like the Shohei Ohtani rule? The real one?
Yeah. Yeah. It allows him to play in DH. I'm fine with
that.
But he's the only guy. He's the only guy that can do it. So, which I wish there was a more way to get more people to try this.
Yes.
But because the way it's set up basically for one guy, and they changed the rule for one guy. And I don't know. We'll see if we can get some other guys to do it. But I do like the fact that we get to see him. And even if they walk him 5 times, Scott, at least we get to see him.
You guys are trolling me so hard. Like, I'm not the one pushing for it. I'm just saying, like, let's listen.
You were on the email thread, Scott.
Hey,
you were on the email thread. I wasn't.
A problem. Sometimes it's like you're not even allowed to bring something up or say something, right? In our sport or in a lot of debates, right? Like, why can't we just talk through it? It's a sports talk show. Some people I was texting were like, hey, 15th inning, ghost runner. I'm okay with it.
It's the only sport where we have one rule for the regular season and a different rule for the postseason.
No, hockey. Hockey has shootouts in the regular season, and then they don't. So 2.
True.
But I'm with you. I mean, I like the ghost runner more than most do. 15th inning, I'm okay with it. Woohoo, I got last word. See you on the postgame show.
Woohoo.
All right, we got 2 minutes to go for the YouTube crowd. BetMGM, second portion here. We did not get to Mr. Kratz, who had an historic performance last night, selecting the only player that did not record a hit in a starting line. Was that what it was? The only player that was an 0 or that put up an 0 for 7?
Yeah. He went 0 for 7. He was that guy, and I selected him. Sorry, Max. I apologize. We can't talk about it because you're an active player. But tonight I'm going over 4.5 hits given up by Shane Bieber. Pretty much averages anywhere from 5 to 7 hits given up. He's had a couple 4, and I think I wouldn't have taken this before, but I think because of last night, they will stretch him a little bit, and he's been throwing strikes, so he's not really pitching around that many guys, and so over 4.5 hits he will give up. Minus 110, paying 110.
Wow, finally. I feel like it took all year for me to be the most bold of the evening, but we can show the locks. Usually it's parlay AJ, and usually Kratz is in the low plus 100s, but I'm a high plus 180 piece today. Let's throw them locks up if we can. Oh, it's coming through. 1 second. But anyway, so just to recap, AJ's got Dodgers run line, so they got to win by 2 or more. I've got Blue Jays money line. They've got to win by 1 or more. Can't win by a half. Still working on that rule change. And then Kratz has Bieber's punchies. So we'll show it to you.
Bieber's hits. Over hits.
Oh, it hits. Sorry.
Scott, do you listen?
Bieber's hits.
Do you listen, Scott?
He's sleepy.
Oh.
Actually, last night was like prime time for him. He had just finished supper.
Yeah. He had just finished at the rave, and he was just getting back when the 16th inning started.
I had beer and popcorn at 1 a.m. Beer and popcorn. It was a nice little snack.
You can't eat popcorn.
I was going to say, I thought you were allergic to corn.
Yeah.
No.
I thought you were allergic to fun.
Corn. All right. Here's the board. It's pretty. Bieber hits allowed over 4.5. Keep him in the game. BetMGM players will receive an MLB World Series odds boost token. If you log in, use that token, add a wager made up of entirely MLB World Series bets to that bet slip, activate the token. If you win with the token, you get extra winnings. Gambling problem or concern, call 1-800-GAMBLER. We got 1 minute here at the finish line. Did you guys see Shohei and Yamamoto embrace and the interpreters? And I think Roki was in there. I don't know. There was like 5 or 6 of them. He was in there too, Roki. I thought that was cool for those guys. I mean, you got to keep in mind, this is not their home country. They're spending a good portion of their young adult life somewhere else, and they're in it together. And I just thought it was like a cool frat bro moment for Team Japan in the World Baseball Classic coming up, and how valuable those guys are in general.
It was awesome. That was cool. And I love the fact that Shohei did the interview post game. Maybe we can get him on. You know what? I'm gonna ask Rosenthal if he can ask Shohei to come on our show or Fair Territory, and then I'll kick Ken off and I'll take over.
Good luck. Shohei was like on the interview, didn't he say at the end, like, yeah, I'm trying to get as much sleep as I can. Wink, wink. This interview's over. Smiley face.
Time to go. This is my one interview I've done ever post game.
We won. I'm amazing. I'm pitching. Time for rest. And he's like a 10-hour plus guy. All right. Enjoy game 4 and maybe watching bullpens fall to smithereens, or it'll be 2-1 and we'll talk to you after the 2-hour game for the post game show.